Peace and Black Power family. This is your host, Raheem Shabazz, and we are here for another episode of Necessary Blackness Podcast. And today, family, we have a special guest in the building. Our special guest is no other than ZeZe. And ZeZe is a young firebrand sister that's unapologetic in being FBA. And she is what one will consider an activist and a truth teller. And she is also the owner of A2Z TV, which is a very popular YouTube channel among many things. So I'm welcoming you to the Necessary Blackness Podcast. How you doing now, sister?
Peace. I am grand. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on first of the year. I love to feel a little special. First one of the
Yeah,
year.
this is the first podcast of 2023. I actually had the opportunity to interview you when we was backstage at the rally for reparations. However, we was dealing with the sound from the stage, the people around us, the mic malfunctioning, so they wouldn't let us be great. But we're gonna be great today. I'm gonna I'm gonna pick up from pretty much what we was talking about when we had the conversation. And I think it was a very eventful conversation because it was a massive amount of people there. And it showed the force and it showed the necessity for reparations for Foundation Black American. So I wanted to ask you, what was it that compelled you to be there and to join forces with the FBA family at that march, at that rally? Pardon me.
Because that was like the first time, that I really got to come together with other foundational Black Americans, specifically, for a fight that was specifically for us, because I've been pro-Black my whole life, you know what I'm saying? To be real, a bit conscious, my whole life. My father's in a nation. I was raised in a nation up until I was like 8 or something like that. So I've always had that foundation of pro-Blackness or consciousness, but coming into the awareness of my own lineage, and even with the nation, understanding that we come from slaves and understanding the effects of slavery and things of that nature, it still didn't click all the way. To be honest, that we are our own distinct group. I was still kind of going for Black people, Black people, we need to stick together. Black people did it. And I'm not even thinking about we have subsects of different Black people, So that for me was just like it felt like a solidifying, sense of pride, to be able to do that with my group, and that's not to step on anybody else's, but just to be able to build specifically with the people that are closest to my relatives, closest to me, to fight for something for us. It was special, and then my family came with me. Like it was just, it was something that was fulfilling, to say the least. It was good to do. Great to do.
And when you spoke about being a part of a group, right? And when we look at group dynamics, right, it's a beautiful thing for you to have a group that you can call exclusively your own, right? Because when we say Black encompasses so many other different groups of individual and people. And then oftentimes, these people are rooted into their culture, their way of life, their way of thinking. A lot of times, sometimes it's opposed to how we think as Foundation Black American. But we all know that, Black is Black, but Foundation Black American is what's pushing the culture, and we have a unique story unlike anybody else. So in your journey, in your travel for reparations, what do you think is the number one barrier that we face as a people fighting this fight for reparations?
Well, of course, the number one barrier is going to be white supremacy. Of course, that's the the pinnacle of everything. But I think I would go a little go besides that, because I think that's more of the obvious answer, is that of course is white supremacy, but I think it's more of us too. A lot of us have came to a point, have acquired a defeatist attitude, or defeatist mentality, where we're like, what's the point, or we've made it this far, why we need it now, or they ain't gave it to us now, we ain't gonna get it, will we fight? Like, why are you wasting your breath? Why are you begging? Why it's like, so many of us don't understand the debt that we're owed. So many of us do not really understand, the effects that slavery and oppression in this country has had on, like the toll it has had on our people, will continue to have for generations on end. And so a lot of us, since we don't see the severity of it and the reason, like the push for it, the reason why we need it so much, they tend to downplay it or degrade the idea of it. And that right there alone takes away from our fight, because you got some of us on the front lines trying to fight for it, and then half of us on the other line is going against us with the people that's stopping us from getting it, with white supremacy, aligning with them whether they realize it or not. You just saying, oh, we ain't got it like that, we ain't got it yet, they ain't gonna give it to us. That's an alignment with white supremacy. That's what a white supremacy right behind it. Yeah, you know what? We need equal rights for everybody, right? Yeah, we need equity for everybody. Yeah, you're right. It has been too long. And so that right there, that mentality holds back so much. Like oh Lord, it just, and I give us grace because I understand that, that's a side effect of white supremacy, is that mentality within itself. But it's also like, Lord, it's so cringy and like exhausting, to try to convince us that you're old. Like, why do I gotta keep convincing you that your ancestors built this for you so you can claim what is rightfully yours, but we got to keep doing it because we got to get these reparations. But that is definitely one of the main things holding us back for sure.
Yeah, and you know what, I find out that most times when you dig deeper and you speak to those that are opposed to reparations, you find out that they're not foundation Black Americans. You know what I mean? And then you find out when you start doing further research, you start looking back at tweets and posts on Instagram, that a lot of them have vitriol towards foundation Black Americans. So I think for me personally, what really gets me is individuals that say, if they do give us the money, we ain't gonna do nothing but spend it back with them. And we need financial literacy before we get the money, and all of us need to know about finances. And my argument for that is this, right? We don't need everybody to wait until everybody knows about financial literacy. Everybody is not going to be on code. And if this was contingent upon us waiting for everybody to be on one accord, we'll never get it. And guess what? No one said that to the Japanese when they was in the internment camp and they got reparation. No one said that, you know what, you're going to need to take a financial literacy course. No one said that to the Jews. No one's saying that to Ukraine. You know what I mean? If you want to keep it up to date. So yeah, I definitely feel you when you talk about that. So my next question, right? Are you familiar with Bruce Beach in LA?
I don't think so. Bruce Beach?
Yeah, Bruce Beach is a beach that was owned by descendants of slaves, and the city in California declared it as public domain, and they made them sell it for a quarter of what it was worth.
Oh,
and
wow.
This was 98 years ago. So they basically took it and said, we're going to build a park and this, that, and the other. So this family owned the whole entire beach. It's called Bruce Beach, right? The governor, that's currently the governor of California, they put together like a task force, and they looked into it, and the city councils and everybody, and they gave back this beach last year to the descendants of the individuals who was the prior owners of this beach.
Oh.
And at that particular time, it was worth $75 million. Recently, it was just announced that they got, they got the beach and everything. They had it for several months. They decided to sell it back. Can you believe this? To the city.
Yeah, are you for real?
Yeah, they sold it back to the city, and they sold it back for I want to say $20 million.
Oh God!
So once again,
It was worth 75.
yeah, it was that's what the appraisal price was of last year.
Wow.
So what do you say to situations like that where we get in a position where, something that was wrong, they righted it, and then we go back on, and a lot of people are upset. So I did some further research, and people were saying that the reason why they sold it is because the zoning laws. Because you got to think, right? Anytime you have commercial real estate near water, the money is crazy. So if they don't allow them to build on that waterfront, then it probably wasn't as lucrative as they thought it was. But it's a beach. There's ways around that. You know what I mean? It definitely was worth more than $20 million. And just as you got the beach, you could have got them to change the zoning laws. But my question to you
is, change them now that they didn't sold it.
Yeah, my question to you is, because I was in arguments with people online where they were saying, see, this is a prime example of why we're not ready for reparations. What do you say to an argument such as that?
I think that's just it's just a reality we're going to have to accept. It's a harsh reality, but it's a reality we have to accept that some of us just ain't gonna make it. I think the more that we push, and I think that's the reason why some of us are scared to get it, because we know that some of us ain't gonna make it. When we get reparations, that is going to be the determining factor between who sinks and who swims, because now we're rebuilding infrastructure. Now we have to put it back on us. Now, and that's why I got to always give respect to the nation, because they always go by do for self. This is that would force us into doing for self. And so many of us are not used to that. So many of us really have a fear of that, if we're being real, because they're not ready for that type of power, which is understandable because we have not had it in hundreds of years. I understand. It's a scary, white supremacy is a scary ass beast. I get it. But that's the reality that we're going to have to accept, that some of us are going to sell us out. Some of us are going to take the money that we get and give it back to our oppressors. Some of us are going to take the money, get land like this family did, and end up flipping it and giving it right back for even less money. That's just going to happen. But that's why we have to be intentional and be careful and pay attention, to those who are really trying to build, because those who are really trying to build are those who you need to be with. Shout out to the brother X, the nation again. They got what are they here off the farms right now? He out there with a bunch of brothers and sisters in what are they in Texas, I think. Got a bunch of land out there with a lot of black families, and they're building. They're not going to set, and they got nuances and stuff they trying to hit them with out there, but they're not backing down from that, because they have people all solid. They have a solid group that is all on code, all on the same page with one goal, and that is to separate, to have their own, to get their own. If you're with black people, and it's not gonna be a lot of us. It's so sad, because Lord, the more I be hearing some of these conversations, I'd be like, God, I be trying not to say majority, but Jesus Christ, we pushing 40, 50, 45, 40, 45. Yeah. Especially if we count some of the older Negroes. It's egregious, you know what I'm saying? So, but the more that we deal within that reality, that some of us just genuinely are not going to be ready. Some of us are genuinely going to get this money and end up right back in poverty, or end up worse, if we being real. But that has to be, we cannot just hyper focus on that part, because the other part of it is some of us is already building. Some of us is already
absolutely
years to get these reparations. You know what I'm saying? And still preparing to get this right, and know exactly where that money gonna go when they get it. Where that land, what type of land they gonna get, what type of infrastructure, what kind of schools, what kind of hospitals, what kind of grocery store. They already know what they're trying to do with this money. That's why they just waiting for the money. We just pushing for the money at this point. We pushing for the check. We pushing for the land. We pushing for the resources, because we got the plan ready. All we need is the platform. That's who we got to focus on. We can't worry about all of these Negroes that's just going to it's going to lay by the wayside. We can't put our energy towards that. Not that we can't help to a degree, you know, because some of us are going to need, we do need financial literacy classes. We do need, you know, teachers and role models and financial scholars in general to help guide us in our building. However, we cannot put all of our focus on those on lower level individuals who want to stay lower level. It just is what it is. And we have to come to that point, because we cannot say we will sink the ship trying to save everybody. We got to save those who want to be saved. And I'll tell you one thing, I bet there's gonna be a lot of people from the nation up in that.
Yeah, we gotta definitely, you know, separate the wheat from the chaff and get rid of those low frequency slaves.
It is what it is. Hey, let me say this. I don't want to sound like
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not giving grace, because I do understand, because even with that family, like they gave it away, that 20 million. I mean, they gave it that, they sold the Back Beach and they undersold it at that. But even with that 20 million, it's not like we got to give up on that family, because they still got $20 million. You know what I'm saying? So they can still go get more land, maybe not a beach, but they can go get more land and do something constructive with that. You know what I'm saying? So we also have to give each other grace in knowing that we got to give each other time to mess up, because it's going to take, like, our parents ain't dealt with millions of dollars. Generations before us, none of them dealt with millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm the first one that's going to get $1 million, and you expect me to blow it like, you know, some of us fumble the bag a couple times before we really get to where we need to get to. Some of us don't.
We get it right. Yep, absolutely.
We don't need the time, you know.
And you know what? I would like to really be privy to that conversation and to know what was the reason why, because there's a reason behind everything, right? And one of the things is that they could have put it in a re-invocable trust, right? And it could have been where it goes to each descendant as they pass, it goes down. They could have had certain barriers in place where they couldn't sell it. What I would have did was I would have leased it to the city, you know what I mean, for a certain amount of years, you know, and collected revenue off of it, and that we would have controlled the land in perpetuity. Because this is the thing, they always tell you when you have stuff in a family trust that you own nothing, but you control everything, right? As individuals, you don't own nothing. The family trust owns it, and it pays everybody, you know. So, and I'm sure they, you know, if I know this stuff, I'm really hoping, and I'm giving them grace, that they had the top financial advisors to advise them, like, listen, the zoning laws is crazy. They're not going to let you do that. It's best to get the money and run. Or, you know, I'm sure they would have told them, yo, put it in a family trust, do this, do that, do that. So just as a business-minded individual that learning this thing as I go along, and I'm saying, damn, if I knew that and you got all these resources, like, what was that conversation like?
Yeah, because it could have been. I mean, hopefully, yeah, they did have a financial, and that was the case. But it could have been they just like, man, we ain't trying to do all that. We want this check. Let me get that 20 million.
Cut the check.
We need that 20 million because we're.
Yeah, I mean, you know, another thing too, right? You know, you never could say what you're gonna do, you know, until you're in that position. You know,
yeah, that's true. I mean, that's 20 million.
I definitely understand that. But speaking about finances, we're going to keep it on finance for a little while, right? You have an NFT, right? It's called Egregious
NFT.
War Goddess. How you pronounce it?
Oh, yeah, it's the Egregious War Goddess.
War Goddess. Egregious War Goddess, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that. And I know that the fourth revolution, you know, is the internet and the World Wide Web and this metaverse. And it's always, you know, a pleasure to see our young brothers and sisters getting in early and also, you know, making an economic impact with the tools that are provided to us. So tell us what is the meaning behind that and why you felt it necessary to get involved in that.
Well, you know, I really just took because I already had my the Egregious or the War Goddess and the War God. I had both of them it's like what are they called? Little stickers on my channel, and I had them on my merchandise. So I ended up just taking the symbols and put them on and flipped them to NFTs and just made them into NFTs instead. Shout out to my cousin, Black Owned. She the one who made it for me, designed it for me. It was a blessing. But yeah, I thought I just had to get my foot in it because I don't understand. Like, I'm not about to sit up here and fake like I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to NFTs and digital currency and things of that nature. But I know that because I hear some people go against it as well. But I felt like, why not at least have my foot in it? I feel like it's one of those things, kind of like with the what's the other thing that they're doing now?
With the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, right? Exactly. It's like, why not? Especially if I'm not losing anything from it, like it don't cost to go make an NFT. I didn't pay no money to make no damn. I just made them and put them online, And now if people buy them, I make money from it. You know what I'm saying? And I know that my brand is going to grow regardless. So it's like, if NFTs grow, people are going to want to grow with me. People are going to invest in my NFTs because they, what I'm saying? It's like the math is math. And so I was like, why? Stuff like that. I feel like Black people, we should just, if it's, especially if it's low risk or no risk at all, get that money. You know what I'm saying? At least put yourself out there to a minimal degree to get that money. And that's why I just made the NFTs and put them up there. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I don't even know. I wasn't even sure about the price, and I'm gonna be 100% honest. I just put in on some spiritual like 444 one. I don't even understand. I'm still learning. I'm gonna be real with you.
Okay.
I wanted to do. I had to put my foot in it because I'm like, why not? Like I'm already moving towards. I know I want my brand to be. I'm probably going to turn into like a media company of some sort, but I definitely want my brand to be dipped in different, streams. So why not? Why not get NFT? Egregious NFT.
Yeah, speaking of brands, right? A to the Z TV. Like you said, you have merchandise and things like that. Tell us what was the impetus for your brand, what made you want to start it, and where you see your brand in the next 5 years, and some of the people that has been fortunate enough to appear on your platform.
Well, yeah, I actually got some this past year I got some really nice guests as well. Actually, the year before that I got more guests, to be honest. This year I didn't really do too many interviews, but yeah, I started off doing my channel with my sister. Actually, I started off with my twin sister, and then we kind of stopped. We went on a little hiatus, and I kind of just came back with myself because we had it was a whole thing. But I ended up coming back with myself. I really just wanted to, present my thoughts and ideas on issues pertaining to the Black community, and that's what I do. That's what I've been doing, and I've able to kind of expand that by, kind of evolving into more issues, I guess, as far as politically and socially, because I've always kind of dibbled and dabbled, but I've stayed within a realm of I've stayed within a lower level realm. So now I'm kind of, growing, evolving more within my content. And that's why I've been able to have different conversations. So I started, doing interviews like at the beginning of last year. And that's helped me grow even more as far as, understanding our lineage, understanding our experiences and other parts of our, cultures and stuff like that. It's just been great. But shout out to, let me see. I think the best, or at least my favorite interview so far is probably with my oldest sister, Ayana, and Riza. Probably Riza Islam was probably my favorite interviews. Yeah.
Yeah, I had Riza. Actually, Riza, Zaza Ali, and Dr. Randy Short was the 3 most popular interviews on my channel, and all of those was done last year.
Yeah. Oh wow, blessings!
Yeah. Riza be kicking the truth, man. We need brothers like that.
Yeah, I rock Riz. I gotta get him back on my channel. Actually, he ain't been on there since he wasn't even on it. Actually, he was on it the year before. He was on my first round of interviews last year. Probably with the Sister Awa. Last year was my favorite interview, to be honest. The Sister Awa, I think she was Senegalese, non-FBA woman, but she was talking about polygamy and stuff like that. It was just kind of cool. She's a wife who was contemplating getting the second wife. It was an interesting perspective, to say the least.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She was polyamorous.
Polyamorous. what is it? Polygyny, I think. I forgot. What is it?
It's so many different names and different variations, you know. But I know what you're talking about. So I watch your channel, you know, every time I can catch a interview, you know, I make sure I do it. One of them that really stuck out to me was you coming to the defense of Black men. You know, I see that you are definitely one of those sisters that's a strong advocate for Black men. And I think that what you do is a sample that other women can see that you can be pro-Black men and pro-woman. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take away from you. You know, a lot of times when you see certain segments of our people that are quick to yell Black girl magic, they have vitriol for the Black man. You know what I mean? And I noticed that you don't do that, that you always raise us up, you always praise us. And I caught one segment where you was talking about interracial marriage and the gender war. So if you can, you know, for our viewers that this is their first time being able to view you, what are your stance and your position on interracial marriage?
I am 100% against interracial marriage, if I'm being honest.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm 100% against it. I think it's destructive. I mean, I don't even think I need to say anything further than that. I think it's destructive. It doesn't add any value to our community. You can't marry into white supremacy. You can't sleep into some sort of power. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't befriend a white supremacist and get some benefits. Like, it's not. You know, there's no way around it. And you know, people say the whole all white people ain't evil. I'm not. Baby, we in 2023. I'm not about to keep doing this with y'all. Okay, we all know what it is.
Absolutely.
These people dominate the earth. Okay, white supremacy is real. It's called white supremacy for a real thing. I'm not about to go back and forth about you with the little 10, 15, 5 minority of people that might be off code of white supremacy. I'm not taking it. Okay, so you having that, you bringing a white person into your home. I don't even like. You know what's funny? This is just a side note. My brother was just saying this to me the other day. What I was telling his friends about this other day. One of his friends, when I was at my old house, one of his friends came over to my house, him and his friend. And his friend had a friend. His friend was a white girl. That was his girlfriend. And I didn't realize that. I was upstairs. I came downstairs and I said, I was seeing the white girl. I said, Brad, come here right quick. Come here, Brad. I said, you know, ain't no white women allowed in this house. What the hell going on? Who is that?
Yeah.
How's a white woman? No, that's no. I was dead serious. Like, no bueno. That's not going to happen. She need to go. I don't trust white people in my vicinity. Damn sure not under my roof. Like, I don't. Yeah. If I control it, you would not be in my space at all. You know. So for you to go and get and marry, you know, or go date, go have children with. Oh, you're too far past enemy lines. You know, even if that one white person is an enemy, everything that's attached to them is not worth the risk. I'm sorry. Like, it's just it adds nothing at this point. Nothing. And all it does is add confusion. I'm sorry. It adds confusion, destruction, and more self-hatred. I'm not seeing how any of us can seriously advocate for that. Love is out the window. Love ain't love. Love, you choose who you love.
So absolutely. And you know, me growing up, you know, one of the things I was always told, if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. You know what I mean? So they don't come past the threshold. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we live in a society, and those that operate in the dominant society, you're going to have interaction with them, and you will find that some of them are what I will call, you know, cordial to you. You know what I mean? They will tolerate you. They will be friends with you. But just like Nellie Fuller told us, you know, we at war. So if there is a position at the job, they will go and get one of their friends who is of their color, who has the complexion for protection, to get that job before you. You know what I mean? If they don't get it, they will want one of their friends to get it before you. So people got to remember, when you look at racism and white supremacy, it's a race, and who controls the natural resources is the one that wins the race. Who's going to be the winner. And as our good brother Neely fully told us, if you don't understand racism and white supremacy, anything else you think you understand is only going to confuse you.
Yeah, you're going to be in a state of confusion.
But it wasn't your brother's girlfriend, it was his friend.
No, hell no. My brother ain't no white girl. What? I would have looked at him like he was crazy. I would have kept both hands.
Yeah, but it is what it is, and for the argument, for those that say, there's some good white people, the last good white person that, I'm knowledgeable of is John Brown. And we can't wait for every 150 years for another John Brown to come around.
What?
We have war, and this is a protracted war, and we need to take ground and stand our ground right now.
Right. If you ain't a white person with a John Brown mentality, I don't even want to be there. I don't even want to be there.
So listen, man, there's gonna be people that wanna definitely check out, and I implore everybody to check out A2Z TV. There's gonna be individuals that want to purchase your merch, and they might want to get that NFT. How can they get at you on social media?
Yes, y'all, please follow me on Instagram __CFWM. Follow my backup page because Instagram be hating, you know how these people do. __CFWM2. My Twitter is Shata_Ute. And my Patreon, YouTube, A2Z TV. Please hit me up.
Now, what's CWM? What that stand for?
Lord, I'm really contemplating changing it because I made it in high school. It stands for Can't Fuck With Me.
Okay. Hey, listen.
Egregious. Yeah, I know. I really.
Listen. You might have said it using baby language, but the actuality is they can't mess with you. You know what I mean? So, you made it when you was younger, but listen, it's still relevant to today. That's history right there.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, you gotta use the baby language and give them their warning. We give them grace and we give them warning, and after that, they on their own.
That's true.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or that you want to say in your last closing words?
I guess I'll just say my last closing words. Black people, please, Black Americans, FBAs, we got to get on code, man. We need these reparations. At this point, it's not about how you feel. It ain't about what you think. It ain't about your opinion. I really don't give a damn at this point. It's about what is owed to us. It's about what our ancestors fought for. It's about what our ancestors died for, what was stolen from us, and what is rightfully ours. So put aside your feelings, put aside the emotions that you feel comes with it, and just stick with that, and we will stay on track. Okay. Other than that, love y'all. V1, y'all know it's not a new year. It starts in spring. So yeah, just saying. Happy fake New Year.
Yeah, and I want to add on to what she said, right? But I want to speak to the non-FBAs, right? For those that have vitriol or feel slighted or cheated because Foundation Black American is getting this much closer and closer and closer to receiving these reparations, there's no need for that, right? Because there is an organization in the Caribbean, there's an organization in Africa that is fighting for reparation as well. They're going after, it's one white actor, millionaire, and then there's another individual, his family, they just came out with and said that they was owners of slaves, right? So they're going after them, and they're going after the British Crown, right? Whichever one come first, whether we get it first or they get it first, the arguments that we use, you can use as well, and vice versa. So this is something that, we don't have to be uniform in our belief, but we all have to be unified in our struggle. And we all know who the common enemy is, and the common enemy doesn't look like me and you. So with that, I thank you, sister, for taking out the time of your busy schedule to join Necessary Blackness Podcast. And this is your first time, but let's not make it your last time. And whatever you have going on, make sure you hit us up and you let us know about it, and we bring you back on the platform. Peace and power.
Peace. Thank you for having me.
Same here.